The following is a clip from the highly acclaimed educational radio program, The White Riot Show.
What do you really think happened in Roswell?
Excuse me. All right. Well, you know that right near the crash landing, I forgot the name of it, but there is a military base.
There's a military base
Okay,
right there,
so, well, my assumption is it was 1947. You're about 2 or 3 years into the Cold War. And they were on the base. They were probably working on something. And, you know, probably some guys like, all right, everybody put on your goggles. All right, we're going to be testing this new anti-Soviet, kick your ass weapon, like blah, blah, blah. 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Where the fuck's it going?
Yeah, right.
Everybody get out there and grab it for some hillbilly thing. They think they're from Pluto. Like, you know, and unfortunately it landed and some guy went like, hey, they're from Mars. Yeah, but, you know, I mean, my guess would be it was just something that they were working on.
Right.
And that it literally, they lost control of it and it landed in the hillside outside the base.
Well, listen, this is what a lot of people forget, right? What a lot of people forget is that Chuck Yeager's first supersonic flight,
yes,
1947.
1947, yeah.
Which means that they had been testing it a lot sooner than that. Right? So if he was successful in 1947 with the X1, the X2, whatever it was, whatever it was.
That means they were probably working on it since
for
like
years.
1937.
Yeah. And why isn't it reasonable to say, like, maybe there were these supersonic prototypes? We know, like, it was in The Right Stuff, and the guy who wrote the book really delved into it. We know that before Chuck Yeager, test pilots had been killed trying to test prototypes of supersonic
absolutely.
airplanes. This is what drives me crazy. It's like the 9/11 conspiracy assholes.
Oh, I just saw them the other day.
Why don't you accept, like, Occam's razor says you accept the simplest
explanation
that fits the solution. It tends to be correct, right? Nature works that way. The simplest is usually the simplest hypothesis that answers the entire hypothesis is usually
the simplest answer.
Fits the question. And in this case, isn't it simpler to say that the U.S. Army at the height of the Cold War or heading into the Cold War was testing top secret supersonic prototypes, and one of them crashed. To spy on or just for war.
Oh, just for war.
Yeah, I'm not talking even about the U-2s. I'm just talking about it could have been a U-2.
They were just working on something.
Yeah, and they were just working on something, and it crashed. And they didn't want people knowing what it was.
Exactly.
Why isn't that the simplest? Now, to your point.
Well, that's always been my position.
Yeah,
I literally think they were just working on something.
Yeah. But to your point, if that was the case, what's the point in keeping it classified right now? I mean, it's not technology that we have to keep out of anybody's hands.
Well, they did. You have to remember, back about maybe 10, 15 years ago, whenever it was, they did release what they claimed was Operation Blue Book.
Right.
And that was the whole thing that really explained it. But you have to realize the UFO people they're not
nuts.
They're crazy people. You know, there's a little cottage industry for all these things, and they're not.
They're like Jesse Ventura. Everything's a conspiracy. 9/11 thermite paint and shit like that.
What the fuck happened to him? He used to be.
What the fuck happened to him? He's nuts. He always was nuts.
No. But when he wasn't always wacky. Even when he ran for governor, he was okay. I mean,
What do you mean when he ran for governor, he was okay? When he took office, he rappelled down the side of the state building to take office.
Really?
Yeah, he fucking. I mean, it was funny in the context of what happened, but I mean,
but even within that context, that still isn't. That doesn't show that you're like really prone to conspiracies and like this kind of.
You're prone to being nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I never really associate. I mean, look, on the other hand, what am I saying? I didn't follow his career in Minnesota.
Right.
But I know that post his political career.
Oh, he's gotten even worse.
He's gotten worse.
Well, I think that part of that
strident in his
I think part of that has to do with the fact that he's making money off of that. So he's got all those shows where he's investigating alleged conspiracies, and he's going on Alex Jones and people like that. So there's a lot of these assholes that are paying to listen. They're all fucking assholes.
He made a movie called The New World Order.
Oh yeah, I've seen all of those things. The New World Order, the whole thing about the Bitburg Group, and
yeah, that's his big thing.
Here's where the simplest answer is usually fit. When you see questions like, why is it that some of the richest and most powerful people of the world always meet once a year in Bitburg, blah, 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 secretaries of state, captains of industry, billionaires, presidents, prime ministers? Here's the answer. People of means and power tend to hang out with each other.
Right.
They don't hang out with fucking schmucks
Right.
on the corner singing doo-wop every Saturday night.
That's right.
They hang out with each other and figure out ways to make more money and get more power. What the fuck is what is so strange about that you can't accept the concept?
Because it's a collection of such powerful people.
Yeah.
Knuckleheads like Smith, they have to believe that there's something else going on. Why don't you understand this? I mean,
Yeah, seriously. Like, think about it in high school. Did the nerds hang out with the jocks? By and large, no.
No.
But there's no conspiracy when you saw either group hanging out with each other. They just tend to flock to people that are more... Look, humans
Right.
tend to flock to people that are most like themselves.
yeah, well, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, They tend to stick to people of their own kind. Whatever that own kind
this kind
is.
of conspiracy is always going to have legs with these people because they're powerful people.
And they're assholes.
Yeah, but they're powerful people.
Yes, agreed.
You know, they're not just, you know, in other words, if you had a big collection of poor people, nobody cares, you know. So your powerful people keep their eye on you.
Yes.
And no, but I actually saw that one time, and he went up to, who was that guy, David Gergen, or one of those reporters,
Yeah.
or one of the, who is that guy? Yeah, David Gergen. And he was outside the Bitburg thing, and Alex Jones went up to him and like tried to interview. He goes, "Would you get out of here? You're so stupid."
Yeah, no, it's like they really just, you're right. The conspiracy theorists really just look for something that validates their nonsense, and they really just can't accept reality. I think those 9/11 assholes just can't accept the reality that we're vulnerable to a bunch of fucking terrorists.
Yeah.
That there's a bunch of savages out there that have absolutely nothing better to do than figure out how to spend the next 50 years trying to figure out how to kill everybody in the United States.
Yeah.
And that to a lot of people, it's troubling to me.
Well, that's one of my knocks on religion because it has people like this and it encourages them. But, you know, I just saw them the other day. I was actually walking down there. There's like 8 of them. And I got to tell you the truth.
8 of what?
8 of the 9/11, it was an inside job.
Oh, those assholes.
And
Okay.
they're standing right outside.
You're a gatekeeper, man.
Yeah. And like they're standing there. And I got to tell you the truth. Honestly, these guys look like complete misfits.
Yeah.
Not that we're handsome, gorgeous guys, but they look...
Speak for yourself.
Join us every week at www.whiteriotshow.com to follow the latest exploits of Big Fat John and Judo Larry M. This is Mark, the man with the golden voice, and I'm not wearing any pants.